September 1944. Deep beneath the waves of the South China Sea, a U.S. submarine commander faced a Japanese destroyer bearing down on his position. Conventional wisdom screamed retreat, but Captain Samuel Dealey, known for his audacious tactics, made a different choice. His decision in that silent, claustrophobic steel tube would not only defy naval doctrine, but also etch his name into legend, forever altering the course of the Pacific War. To understand how it happened, we must go back to the early days of the Pacific War, a period marked by overwhelming Japanese naval superiority and a desperate struggle for the Allied forces. Following the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941, the United States found itself abruptly thrust into a global conflict of unprecedented scale. The initial months were characterized by a series of devastating defeats for the Allies across the Pacific theater. Japanese forces, meticulously prepared and highly effective, rapidly expanded their control over vast swathes of Southeast Asia, the Philippines, and numerous island chains. The U.S. Navy, still reeling from the Pearl Harbor attack, struggled to mount an effective counteroffensive. Its submarine force, though theoretically powerful, was initially hampered by a critical flaw. Its Mark 14 torpedoes often failed to detonate or ran too deep, rendering many attacks ineffective. This technical deficiency, combined with a conservative tactical doctrine that prioritized stealth and long-range attacks over aggressive engagement, meant that American submarines struggled to make a significant impact against the formidable Japanese merchant fleet and its well-armed escorts. This early phase was a harsh and unforgiving learning curve, where every patrol brought bitter lessons and the stark realization that traditional naval warfare doctrines needed a radical overhaul to counter a determined and highly effective adversary. The strategic stakes were astronomically high, with the very survival of Allied presence and influence in the Pacific hanging precariously in the balance. The vastness of the ocean, the ferocity of the enemy, and the initial limitations of American technology and tactics created an environment where innovation and sheer courage would become the ultimate determinants of success. By mid-1943, the war in the Pacific had evolved into a brutal and protracted campaign of island hopping and attrition, a grinding struggle for every strategic foothold. Japanese supply lines, stretching thousands of miles across the vast ocean, became the critical arteries sustaining their far-flung garrisons and industrial war effort. Disrupting these vital lines of communication and supply was paramount for the Allies, a strategic imperative that promised to cripple Japan's ability to wage war. However, this task was fraught with immense peril. Japanese convoys were not only numerous, but also heavily guarded by a formidable array of destroyers, frigates, and other escort vessels, making any attempt to attack them incredibly dangerous for American submarines. Early U.S. submarine tactics, shaped by pre-war doctrine and the initial unreliability of torpedoes, often emphasized extreme caution. Commanders were instructed to prioritize the survival of their boats and crews, often avoiding direct confrontations with destroyers, which were faster, more maneuverable, and equipped with deadly depth charges and advanced sonar. The prevailing wisdom was that engaging an escort directly was an unnecessary risk, a potential suicide mission. However, as the war progressed and the flaws in the torpedoes were finally addressed, a new breed of submarine commander began to emerge, men who possessed not only technical skill, but also an audacious spirit. These commanders understood that victory would require pushing the boundaries of conventional warfare, embracing calculated risks, and developing innovative strategies to overcome the enemy's entrenched defenses. They recognized that the unique challenges of the Pacific theater demanded a different kind of fight, one where aggressive audacity combined with meticulous precision could turn the tide against seemingly insurmountable odds and transform the submarine from a cautious hunter into a decisive weapon. Among these emerging leaders, a figure whose name would soon become synonymous with daring and unparalleled success was Commander Samuel David Dealey. Born in Dallas, Texas in 1906, Dealey's early life was marked by a quiet determination and a keen intellect, qualities that would define his distinguished naval career. He graduated from the prestigious U.S. Naval Academy in 1928 embarking on a path that would ultimately lead him to the claustrophobic confines of a submarine, where his true genius would shine. His initial service included assignments on battleships and destroyers, providing him with a comprehensive understanding of naval operations from both above and below the waves. However, it was in the silent, submerged world of submarines that his true calling lay, a realm where strategic thinking and nerves of steel were paramount. Dealey quickly earned a reputation for his meticulous planning, his remarkably calm demeanor under the most intense duress, and an almost uncanny ability to anticipate enemy movements with chilling accuracy. In December 1942, he was given command of the USS Harder, SS-257, a state-of-the-art Gato-class submarine. The Harder was a formidable vessel, designed for long-range patrols and equipped with 10 torpedo tubes, a potent weapon system. Yet its ultimate effectiveness would undeniably depend on the man at its helm. Dealey immediately set about transforming his crew, instilling in them a rigorous discipline tempered with an aggressive, almost predatory spirit. He fostered an environment where every man understood the immense challenges ahead and the critical, often life-or-death role they played in the war effort. His burgeoning reputation for boldness and strategic brilliance was already beginning to precede him, hinting at the extraordinary achievements that lay just over the horizon, poised to redefine submarine warfare in the Pacific. Samuel David Dealey's journey to becoming one of the most celebrated submarine commanders in U.S. naval history began far from the intense battlefields of the Pacific. His formative years in Dallas, Texas, instilled in him a strong sense of duty and a sharp analytical mind, qualities that would prove invaluable throughout his distinguished career. His time at the U.S. Naval Academy, from which he graduated in 1928, was characterized by academic excellence and a reputation for quiet, unwavering determination. Unlike some of his more boisterous peers, Dealey was known for his thoughtful approach, his meticulous attention to detail, and his remarkable ability to dissect complex problems with surgical precision. After receiving his commission, he served on various surface ships, including battleships and destroyers, gaining a comprehensive first-hand understanding of naval operations from the perspective of the surface fleet. This experience provided him with crucial insights into the capabilities and limitations of surface vessels, knowledge that would later prove invaluable in his submarine tactics. However, it was his pivotal transition to the submarine service that truly ignited his passion and revealed his innate aptitude for the unique challenges of undersea warfare. He underwent rigorous and demanding training, mastering the intricate mechanics, complex navigation, and tactical nuances of submarine operations. His instructors consistently noted his exceptional grasp of hydrodynamics, his unwavering composure during simulated emergencies, and his natural understated leadership abilities. Dealey's early career was defined by a relentless pursuit of knowledge and an unyielding commitment to perfecting his craft, meticulously laying the groundwork for the innovative and aggressive tactics he would later employ. He understood implicitly that success in submarine warfare demanded not just technical proficiency and mechanical mastery, but also an intuitive, almost symbiotic understanding of the ocean environment and the psychological profile of the enemy. Before taking the helm of the USS Harder, Dealey gained invaluable experience on other submarines, meticulously honing his skills and gradually developing his unique, aggressive tactical philosophy. His initial patrols, though not as widely publicized as his later, more spectacular exploits, were absolutely crucial in shaping his approach to combat. He observed firsthand the inherent limitations of existing submarine doctrine, particularly the prevailing emphasis on long-range attacks and the almost dogmatic avoidance of direct engagement with heavily armed enemy escorts. Dealey quickly recognized that while caution was undoubtedly prudent for survival, it often allowed Japanese convoys to escape relatively unscathed, continuing to deliver vital supplies to their war machine. Driven by a growing frustration with these often ineffective tactics, he began to experiment with more aggressive maneuvers, pushing his boat closer to enemy formations than was traditionally deemed safe. He sought to exploit blind spots, anticipate enemy reactions, and create opportunities where none seemed to exist, often placing his vessel in situations that would have given more conservative commanders pause. His crews, initially perhaps wary of his unconventional methods, quickly learned to trust his judgment implicitly, even when his decisions seemed to defy established wisdom. They witnessed his meticulous preparation, his unwavering focus during tense moments, and his remarkable ability to remain composed and decisive in the most harrowing situations. This period was a crucible, a refining fire that forged Dealey's steely resolve and deepened his understanding of how to effectively stalk, engage, and strike the enemy in their own waters. He learned that the element of surprise, combined with audacious positioning and a willingness to engage at close quarters, could transform the hunter into the hunted, even when facing seemingly superior numbers and overwhelming defensive screens. As the war in the Pacific intensified and the strategic stakes grew ever higher, Dealey's burgeoning reputation for daring and tactical brilliance grew exponentially. He was recognized as a commander who could deliver results, and consequently, he was given command of the USS Harder, a vessel perfectly suited for his aggressive and innovative style of warfare. The Harder was a fast, powerful, and technologically advanced submarine. But it was Dealey's exceptional leadership and tactical acumen that truly unlocked its full, devastating potential. He transformed his crew into a highly efficient, tightly knit, and cohesive unit, capable of executing complex maneuvers and daring attacks with flawless precision. Under his command, the Harder became an extension of his will, a finely tuned instrument of destruction. His transition from a promising, unconventional officer to a legendary commander was now complete. He was no longer merely following orders, he was actively writing the playbook for a new, more aggressive era of submarine warfare. The stage was now set for a series of patrols that would fundamentally redefine what was possible for a U.S. submarine, demonstrating unequivocally that with unparalleled courage, strategic cunning, and an unyielding will to win, even the most heavily defended Japanese convoys could be shattered. Dealey and the Harder were about to embark on a campaign that would not only inflict devastating and disproportionate losses on the enemy, but also inspire an entire generation of submariners to adopt a more audacious, effective, and ultimately decisive approach to combat in the Pacific. The prevailing doctrine for U.S. submarines in the early war years dictated a fundamentally cautious approach: attack from a distance, preferably under the cover of darkness, and crucially, avoid direct engagement with heavily armed destroyers. This strategy was born from a pragmatic understanding that a submarine, while possessing immense offensive power, was also inherently vulnerable, especially when detected by fast, maneuverable surface ships. Destroyers, purpose-built for anti-submarine warfare, were the submarine's natural predators, equipped with advanced sonar, devastating depth charges, and superior speed and maneuverability. To intentionally close with a destroyer, let alone penetrate its protective screen to attack a convoy, was considered an act of extreme recklessness, bordering on suicidal. Such a move risked immediate detection, a prolonged and terrifying depth charge attack, and almost certain destruction of the submarine and its crew. However, Captain Dealey, with his analytical mind and aggressive spirit, viewed these rules not as immutable laws of naval combat, but rather as flexible guidelines that could be bent, or even entirely shattered, if the tactical situation and the potential rewards justified the immense risk. He held a firm conviction that the greatest defense against a destroyer was not passive evasion, but rather a preemptive, aggressive strike that effectively turned the hunter into the hunted. His strategic dilemma was clear and stark: adhere to safe, but often ineffective traditional tactics, or embrace an insane level of calculated risk for the promise of potentially devastating and war-altering rewards. Without hesitation, he chose the latter, convinced that the dire circumstances of the war demanded nothing less than total commitment, audacious innovation, and an unyielding will to engage the enemy on his own terms. One of Dealey's most legendary and audacious decisions occurred during Harder's Fifth War Patrol in June 1944, operating in the strategically vital waters off the coast of the Philippines. The Harder had been tasked with a critical mission to support the impending invasion of Saipan, by interdicting and disrupting Japanese fleet units that might attempt to reinforce the island. On June 6th, a pivotal day, Harder detected a Japanese convoy, heavily escorted by a formidable screen of destroyers. Under conventional doctrine, a submarine would typically attempt to maneuver for a shot at the larger, more valuable merchant ships, while carefully avoiding the escorts. However, Dealey, true to his aggressive nature, made a bold and almost unheard-of choice. He decided to attack the lead destroyer, the Hayanami, head-on. This was an incredibly dangerous maneuver, requiring not only exceptional precision in navigation and torpedo firing, but also nerves of steel. He closed the distance rapidly, diving deep to avoid detection and then rising to periscope depth at the last possible moment. The Hayanami was almost directly overhead, its massive propellers churning menacingly, creating a deafening roar that reverberated through the Harder's hull. With remarkable composure, Dealey ordered his torpedoes fired at point-blank range, a decision that left his crew breathless with a mixture of fear and awe, yet utterly confident in their captain's judgment. The action that immediately followed was a masterclass in aggressive submarine warfare, a testament to Dealey's tactical genius and the Harder crew's unwavering discipline. Dealey fired 4 torpedoes at the Hayanami, 2 of which struck the destroyer with thunderous explosions, tearing it apart and sending plumes of smoke and debris skyward. As the Hayanami began its rapid descent into the depths, 2 other destroyers from the escort screen immediately turned to counterattack, dropping a barrage of depth charges that rocked the Harder. Instead of attempting to flee the area, a standard evasive maneuver, Dealey ordered Harder to dive under the sinking Hayanami, using the chaos, the debris, and the destroyer's own demise as a unique form of cover. This maneuver was of breathtaking audacity, turning a moment of extreme danger into a strategic advantage. He then surfaced briefly, a move that defied all conventional wisdom, to quickly reload his torpedo tubes, preparing for the next engagement. Over the next few days, Dealey repeated this destroyer-killing tactic with astonishing and unprecedented success. On June 9th, he encountered another Japanese convoy, and once again, instead of targeting the vulnerable transports, he went straight for the heavily armed escorts. He sank the destroyers Tanikaze and Shiratsuyu in quick succession, often attacking from within the enemy's formation, a tactic that bewildered, terrified, and demoralized the Japanese naval command. His crew, operating under immense pressure, executed every command with flawless precision, understanding that their lives and the success of their mission depended entirely on their collective skill and their captain's unparalleled courage and strategic foresight. Dealey's aggressive strategy was never reckless. It was always a meticulously calculated gamble, relying heavily on the element of surprise and the enemy's expectation of conventional, cautious submarine behavior. The 19 Japanese destroyers mentioned in the title is a powerful testament to his overall impact and the fear he instilled. Though it's important to note that while Dealey and Harder were officially credited with sinking 16 ships totaling over 54,000 tons, including 5 destroyers in just 4 days during that legendary 5th patrol, his aggressive tactics against all types of escort vessels profoundly disrupted Japanese naval operations and changed the psychological landscape of submarine warfare. His method was to eliminate the escorts first, thereby leaving the more valuable merchant ships vulnerable and exposed, a strategy that yielded unprecedented and devastating results for the Japanese. The immediate result of these audacious attacks was devastating for the Japanese. The sinking of multiple destroyers, often in rapid succession and under the most improbable circumstances, sent shockwaves through their naval command. Dealey's tactics not only removed vital escort vessels, but also sowed deep confusion and fear among the remaining Japanese forces. His ability to penetrate escort screens and strike from unexpected angles left the enemy bewildered, often mistaking Harder's presence for multiple submarines. Each successful attack, each thunderous explosion echoing through the hull, was a testament to Dealey's genius and the unwavering bravery of his crew. Dealey's unprecedented success had a profound and immediate impact on the war in the Pacific, fundamentally altering the strategic landscape of submarine warfare. His destroyer-killing tactics, initially viewed with considerable skepticism and even alarm by some within the U.S. Navy, quickly became a revolutionary model for other U.S. submarine commanders. His aggressive penetration of heavily armed escort screens, often involving the audacious maneuver of diving under sinking ships to evade counterattacks, proved unequivocally that calculated audacity and precise execution could overcome seemingly insurmountable numerical superiority. This dramatic shift in doctrine, moving away from cautious evasion towards proactive and aggressive engagement with escorts, significantly enhanced the overall effectiveness of the entire U.S. submarine force. As a direct consequence, Japanese shipping losses mounted dramatically, crippling their ability to resupply their far-flung garrisons, transport vital raw materials to their home islands, and move crucial reinforcements across the vast Pacific. The psychological impact on the Japanese Navy was equally significant and deeply demoralizing. Their escorts, once considered an impenetrable shield, were now vulnerable to a new, terrifying breed of American submariner. Dealey's patrols demonstrated conclusively that the U.S. submarine force, initially plagued by technical issues and conservative strategies, had evolved into a formidable and decisive weapon, capable of systematically strangling the Japanese war machine. His influence extended far beyond immediate sinkings, inspiring an entire generation of submariners to adopt a more aggressive, innovative, and ultimately more effective mindset, fundamentally altering the course of the undersea war and contributing immensely to the Allied victory. The historical impact of Commander Samuel Dealey and the USS Harder cannot be overstated. Their actions were pivotal in shaping the outcome of the Pacific War. Their relentless and audacious campaign contributed directly and significantly to the eventual Allied victory by systematically dismantling Japan's critical logistical network. By the end of the war, U.S. submarines had achieved an astonishing record, sinking over 1,300 Japanese merchant ships and numerous warships, a staggering toll that effectively starved Japan of essential raw materials, vital fuel, and desperately needed reinforcements. Dealey's innovative and aggressive tactics played a crucial, disproportionate role in this monumental success, proving conclusively that a single submarine, when skillfully and courageously commanded, could inflict disproportionate damage on a powerful and determined enemy. His legacy is inextricably intertwined with the broader narrative of the Pacific War, highlighting the critical and often overlooked role of submarine warfare in achieving the ultimate air and naval superiority that was essential for victory. The unparalleled courage, strategic ingenuity, and unwavering determination displayed by Dealey and his crew became a powerful symbol of American resolve, demonstrating that even in the face of overwhelming odds and initial setbacks, strategic brilliance and unyielding commitment could decisively turn the tide of conflict. Their story serves as a profound and enduring reminder of the human element in warfare, where the bold decisions and heroic actions of a few extraordinary individuals can have far-reaching, transformative consequences for millions and for the course of history itself. Tragically, Commander Dealey's extraordinary and impactful career was cut short in the brutal crucible of war. On August 24, 1944, during the Harder's sixth war patrol, the submarine was lost with all hands after being depth-charged by a Japanese escort off the coast of Luzon in the Philippines. The exact circumstances of her loss remain somewhat shrouded in the fog of war, but it is believed she was caught in a fierce counterattack after sinking another Japanese vessel. Dealey was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor, the nation's highest military decoration, for his conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty. His citation specifically highlighted his daring, destroyer-killing tactics and the immense crippling damage he inflicted on the enemy's naval and merchant fleets. Though he did not live to see the final victory of the war, his legacy endured, forever enshrined in the annals of naval history as one of the most effective and courageous submarine commanders. His name became a rallying cry and an enduring inspiration for generations of submariners, a testament to the ultimate sacrifice made in unwavering service to his country and the cause of freedom. This is the true legacy of Commander Samuel David Dealey and the USS Harder. It is a testament to the transformative power of unconventional thinking, the sheer force of human will, and the unyielding spirit of determination in the face of overwhelming danger. Dealey proved conclusively that even when the odds seem impossible, when conventional wisdom dictates retreat, a single determined leader, armed with unparalleled courage, strategic foresight, and a deep, intuitive understanding of his craft, can fundamentally redefine the rules of engagement and achieve what was previously thought impossible. His story reminds us that true strength lies not just in superior firepower or numerical advantage, but in the audacity to challenge the status quo, the meticulous precision to execute the seemingly impossible, and the unwavering commitment to a cause greater than oneself. And sometimes, just sometimes, that is enough to change the world, to alter the course of history, and to leave an indelible mark on the collective memory of a nation.